There is a common saying that money brings out the worst in people. I, Luna, saw that happen with my own eyes. It was my sister-in-law Jenny who showed her true face when she discovered that I had gotten a huge inheritance. I wasn't going around telling people about my wealth because it was no one's business. But my husband Sean or his brother Tyler might have let it slip to her. I can't even blame them, actually. Sean and my lifestyle had changed a bit, and we were spending a little more money on certain things. That made Jenny question what was going on. While I didn't want anyone to broadcast my wealth to the world, I also wasn't going to expect my husband or brother-in-law to lie to their sister. I thought it wouldn't matter to Jenny anyway, since it's none of her business, but that's when the problem started. She randomly came to our house and said, "I heard that you have received a big inheritance. You were so lucky, Luna. Now you get to have all the nice stuff so easily." I won't call it being lucky, Jenny. A close family member died for me to get that money. I would rather have the person back, actually. Of course. It's important to remember how you got your wealth, and it is important to share it with your family. At this point, I knew that Jenny simply wasn't making small talk with me. She had visited our house for something, and I was already dreading what she had to say. Jenny, without missing a beat or noticing my discomfort, went on to say, "So, I was wondering if you could help me out with rent sometimes. You know, things have been a little tough after my second child was born. A little help would be really appreciated." Seriously, Jenny? So now you want to openly ask for handouts? Why can't you just get a job like a normal person? We can't keep helping you all the time. How can you say that, Sean? I deserve some help from my family. I don't want to go to work. I'm fine taking care of my kids at home. Besides, I'm not going to work a minimum wage job when my own sister-in-law is rich. You are going to help me, right, Luna? It's for the kids, after all. They need a roof over their heads. Jenny knew that the kids were a soft spot for me and Sean. She knew that if she dangled her kids in front of us, we would help out. Sean was extremely pissed off at her for good reason. Jenny was actually a leech to some extent. She never worked a day in her life, courtesy of her parents when they were alive. Now that they were gone, she relied on Sean and Tyler for financial support. Tyler and Sean do help out, but solely for the kids. All she does is dangle the kids in front of them and cry about how miserable they are. She was applying the same tactic with me, and it actually worked. I stupidly ended up agreeing to pay half of their rent. I thought that would be the end of it. Nope, I was wrong. It only fueled Jenny's desire for more money. She kept asking for money or would ask us to pay for some stuff, saying that the kids needed it. Sean and I were getting tired of her behavior, and I knew I was being exploited. Still, I thought about the kids and let things be. Sean and Jenny were already on thin ice, so I didn't want any more problems there either. Well, I should have put a stop to Jenny's demands then and there, but I didn't. I finally said so to a demand of Jenny's, which then started off this entire fiasco. Jenny was nagging me to pay for a vacation to an expensive touristy city. She kept pestering me, but I said no. It was a luxury and not a necessity, so I was adamant on saying no. Plus, it was a rather expensive trip. Jenny was angry, but didn't pester after a while. I thought things were normal until the day I went on a lunch date with her. I remember that she had used my credit card to make the payment at the counter. I also remember that she was gone for a while making the payment. I didn't realize until the next day that I had a charge of $30,000 on my card. I was pretty shocked and frantically called Sean to know if it was him. He had no idea about the charges and was equally panicked as I was. Then I called Tyler because he worked in a bank and would be able to help. He did have some interesting information for me. He said, "Did you give Jenny your card recently?" "Yes, I went to lunch with her and I gave her my card to pay the bill." "Wait, you think Jenny made those transactions?" I don't think Jenny made those transactions, Luna. I know for a fact that she did. She actually told me that she planned to use my money to book herself a vacation. Now, that was something I didn't expect at all. I quickly told Tyler to forward my bank statement so that I could see what was going on. Lo and behold, the charges were made for a complete trip 2 weeks from that day. Instantly, I knew it was Jenny who did it. I called her immediately and said, "Jenny, you need to tell me the truth and give me a straight answer. Did you use my card to pay for anything other than the bill at the restaurant yesterday?" Yes, I actually made a few bookings. You remember the trip I wanted to take? The one I kept telling you about? Well, I finally booked that trip yesterday. Wait a damn minute, Jenny. Did you just say that you took my card to book yourself a vacation? Is that what you're saying? Yes, Luna. How hard is it for you to understand that? I've been eyeing this trip for a while now. Finally, I got the chance to experience it. The kids would be so happy as well. You were freaking insane, Jenny. I can't believe you took my card and used it to your advantage. This is theft, for God's sake. This is ridiculous. It's a crime. Oh, please, we are family. You have plenty of money, so it's not a big deal. Stop being so dramatic about this. You should be happy for us. Absolutely not, Jenny. I'm not going to sit around and watch you go on a trip with my money. I'm not giving you a free pass. Just because you are my sister-in-law, that doesn't mean you get to book a free vacation on my dime. I was appalled by Jenny's nonchalant attitude towards what she did. Did she realize that she had committed theft and fraud? She probably didn't care at all. She thought that being my sister-in-law would give her a free pass to do whatever she wanted. And she may have thought that I won't retaliate. Well, she was dead wrong. There was no way I would allow her to enjoy my money after stealing from me. I was just going to ask her to cancel everything when she smirked at me and said, "What are you going to do about it, Luna? The trip has been booked, and it is all non-refundable. Even if you cancel the trip, you won't get a single penny back." What the hell, Jenny? You booked a non-refundable trip with my money? Are you freaking insane? Nope, I am not insane. You should be happy that I got a good deal on all the bookings. I actually saved you a lot of money this way. Now, since you can't even cancel the trip and get your money back, it would be best for you to let me enjoy it. My family hasn't had a nice trip in ages. You need to stop being selfish and share your money. If this was another time, and if I wasn't the damn victim of her schemes, I would have been impressed with her sharp thinking. However, it grates on my nerves when people use their clever ideas to cheat people or act like entitled people. Jenny was an absolute pain in my butt. I realized that she stayed confident through this conversation because she had taken steps to make sure I was unable to spoil her plans. She made sure to book a non-refundable vacation so that I can't make her cancel it. I almost screamed at Jenny and started to curse her out. I was also tempted to cancel all the bookings then and there to show her that I don't care if everything is non-refundable. It wasn't exactly about the money anymore. It was about her entitlement and nonchalance. So canceling the vacation wouldn't be of much help. I knew she would find ways to get back at me, plus I wasn't going to suffer a loss to punish her and get the upper hand. Instead, I came up with a plan. I signed into the phone and said, "Fine then, Jenny. Since you already booked a non-refundable vacation, there is nothing I can do. I guess you really did save money this way." "Ah, I see that you have finally come to your senses, Luna. I am glad you could see past your selfish nature and allow your family to enjoy your wealth too. This will definitely make you a bigger person." "I guess you were right, Jenny. I really needed to learn. Thank you so much for teaching me a big lesson. Jenny, I promise to return the favor when I have the chance." "Oh, don't worry about that. Maybe you can help me go on another vacation next year. That would be the perfect way to thank me." The conversation was becoming too much for me even after I had a solid plan in mind, so I quickly said my goodbyes and hung up the call. For the rest of the day I was fuming and setting up the perfect plan for revenge. Jenny thought that she would patronize me into letting her go. She had another thing coming if she had really thought that. I have no problem being generous, but I draw the line when someone breaks my boundaries. Not only did Jenny steal my credit card, but also showed me that she was an entitled and disrespectful witch. So I was going to make sure she got punished. Even if she was family, she was still a freaking criminal who can't be trusted anymore. When my husband came home that night, I told him what happened. Sean was shocked to hear what his crazy sister did to me. He was really worried about my money and had been stressing about it the whole day. When he learned that his own damn sister was the culprit, he was pissed. He was also very unimpressed with the fact that Jenny showed no remorse and was actually trying to patronize me into thinking she did me a favor. Sean was super mad and frustrated when he said, "This is a serious problem, Luna. I can't believe my own sister would do something so stupid and entitled. I'm so sorry this happened to you and my own family did this." "It's not your fault, Sean. I know you're feeling bad for me, but this is all your stupid sister's doing." "What are you planning now, Luna? I don't want you to allow Jenny to enjoy this trip on your dime. This is just plain wrong. I didn't even want to begin talking about the fact that she committed fraud." "Oh, hell no, Sean. There is no way I would allow Jenny to do what she wants. She intentionally booked a non-refundable vacation so that I couldn't cancel. That woman is malicious and downright crazy. I don't support her behavior at all. I have a plan in mind, but I'm not sure how you will react to it." I was a little hesitant to tell Sean about my plan. Jenny was his sister after all, and I wasn't sure if he would think I was taking things too far. But Sean was my husband, and I wasn't going to keep important information from him just because I was scared. I didn't want this incident to cause unnecessary issues in our marriage, so I told him everything. To my surprise, Sean actually thought it was a good idea. He laughed and said, "That is a brilliant plan, actually. Remind me not to get on your bad side, my dear." "You don't think it's too drastic? I'm very pissed right now, so I might not be thinking straight. You need to tell me if it's too much." "Maybe it is too much, but I don't care. My sister deserves it for being such a scheming witch. It's time she faces some consequences for her actions." "I am on board with your plan, but I want to add something to it, Luna." "What do you want me to do, Sean?" "I will do it if it's possible." "I want you to sue Jenny. It doesn't matter if you go through with your plan or not. You will still lose a good amount of money. That kind of money is not a joke, Luna. There is no need for you to let that go. Sue Jenny and get back what is rightfully yours." I had never expected Sean to say that. I was already pretty nervous about pissing him off with my plans for revenge. Turns out my husband was a step ahead of me and wanted to actually sue me. Ladies, take notes. Find a man who would stand up for you even if it is against his own family. My husband is a gem of a man, and everything he said and did that day proved it. He wasn't going to let anyone mess with me for no reason, and he definitely wasn't going to let anyone take advantage of me. With Sean's permission, I made the decision to execute my plan. I didn't have to do much anyway, and there was no preparation involved. I did inform Tyler about our plan, and he seemed amused by it too. He promised not to let it slip, and I knew I could trust him. That's why I shared my plans with him in the first place. Tyler ended up being of more help when he sent me the screenshots of his conversation with Jenny. It had solid evidence that Jenny had intentionally taken my credit card without my permission and used it to book her vacation. She wasn't remorseful at all, and instead was boasting about her amazing plan. Well, I didn't care anymore. I was glad her stupid self decided to tell Tyler all of her genius plans. It made for some great evidence that I forwarded to my lawyer. I didn't let my lawyer start the process till my stupid sister-in-law was on the freaking plane. She was pretty busy making plans and dreaming about spending my money on her dream vacation. She didn't even bother talking to me in the 2 weeks that were between the day of the vacation and the day she confessed her crime. I didn't care, since I was busy going to work and building my case against her. The day she left for her vacation was the day when I began executing my revenge. I did what needed to be done and then waited for a call that would inevitably come. As I said, Jenny called me in a panic and on the verge of tears. She said, "Luna, what is going on? The hotel is telling us that you cancelled everything. Even our shuttle was cancelled and we had to hire a car to get to the hotel. Now they're saying that our booking has been cancelled this morning." Well, they're not wrong, Jenny. The bookings have been cancelled indeed. What? You cancelled everything? Why do you sound so surprised that I cancelled all the bookings that I didn't even approve of or make? Did you really think I would let you get away with what you did? Jenny was stunned for a while, trying to process what I just said. She didn't expect me to cancel her hotel. For a few seconds she remained silent in shock, but after that she practically screamed at me in anger and said, "What the hell, Luna? How could you freaking do this to me? What is wrong with you? You need to rectify your mistake right now and rebook the hotel we were supposed to stay at." "Oh, hell no, Jenny. Besides, what will you even do after I book you a room? I cancelled all the activities you had planned as well, and I also cancelled the reservation at the expensive restaurant you had planned to visit tomorrow." "What? You cancelled all those too? How can you be such a vile and cruel woman, Luna? How could you do this to your own family?" People who steal from me and try to be entitled about it are not my family. You are nothing but an entitled leech. I won't ever support you or your family again. I am done being your cash cow after you blatantly disrespected my boundaries. "You little shit, just wait. I'm going to come back and teach you a lesson. I will call my brother. He will put you in your place." Again, I'm just returning the favor as I promised you, Jenny. Go ahead, call your brother. See what he has to say. And by the way, I cancelled your return tickets as well, so good luck coming back to teach me a lesson. Jenny started to yell at me again and said some really nasty stuff. I was in no mood to listen to her cursing me out. Plus, I didn't have time or energy for her bullshit. So I hung up on her. I knew that she would call Sean soon after and try to use him to her advantage. Sean was prepared for this talk and was actually looking forward to giving his entitled sister a piece of his mind. I had a good laugh thinking about Jenny's face when Sean would scream at her and tell her to freak off. I wondered what she would do now. She was literally stuck in an expensive vacation city right around the 4th of July. I didn't have to wonder long because she called me back in tears in like an hour. I'm not kidding when I said that she was in tears. She was crying and her tone was now completely different. Gone was her nonchalant and entitled voice. She cried and said, "Luna, I am sorry. I really should have taken your permission before using your card. What can I say? I just wanted a nice vacation for me and my family." Well, no, Jenny. You just wanted a nice vacation for yourself with someone else's money. You didn't even take the kids with you. So don't give me that bullshit, Jenny. Look, I know I messed up. I have no excuses. I'm sorry. This will never happen again. Please, Luna, just rebook everything for me. We literally don't have the money to be here. You should have thought about it when you booked a vacation way above your means. There is no way I am helping you after the attitude you showed me when I confronted you about the theft. I already told you that I made a mistake. Why are you being so difficult, Luna? You should have just helped me book a vacation since you have the money. That way I didn't have to go behind your back. You are not entitled to my money, Jenny. And you had no right to make me pay for luxuries when I already do enough for you and your kids. Say what you want, Jenny. It won't make you look any better. And I'm sure you already realize that none of your brothers are on your side. By this time, Jenny knew that her chances of having a vacation were slim. She had already called her brothers to whine about me and cry for help. True to their word, no one helped her. Instead, she got badly yelled at and berated before they hung up on her. She knew that I was her last and only option, so she called me begging. However, she still had trouble letting go of her nasty attitude. But nothing would work, as I wasn't going to spend a dime on her anymore. I had meant what I said. Jenny understood that and decided to compromise. She sounded resigned and said, "Fine, you don't have to pay for my trip, but at least pay for me to come back. Hell, we can't even fly back. Please, Luna, don't abandon us like this." "Well, no, Jenny. Like I said, I'm not giving you another cent. I don't care what you do or when you come back. That is simply not my concern anymore. You can use your scheming skills to find a solution." "I will remember this, Luna. Just wait. I am in a bad situation right now, so you are making fun of me. I will get back to you and make things even. This is not over." "No, Jenny, it is not over at all. In fact, we are just getting started. But instead of planning your revenge, you should be more worried about the lawsuit I filed against you today." "What? What lawsuit are you talking about? Did you think I will bear the loss of cancelling a non-refundable trip? Of course not, Jenny. So your brother and I decided to sue you for the money you made us lose. Don't worry, you fill out everything in detail once you manage to come back. Till then, bye-bye, Jenny." Jenny began to yell at me again when I hung up on her. That woman was only good at yelling and making evil plans. I was interested in seeing how she would get out of this situation. And for the fun of it, I blocked her on my phone everywhere. I later learned that Sean and Tyler did that as well. That night, Tyler came over and we all talked about Jenny. We collectively decided not to be in contact with her anymore. We had been putting up with her horrible behavior and entitlement for ages. Now we were going to stop. We would provide help for the kids so that she wouldn't keep them away from us. But she or her husband wasn't going to be in our lives anymore. We knew that her husband supported her actions completely, so he was being cut off too. Jenny came back from her dream vacation the very next day. I have no idea where she stayed that night. I'm guessing she stayed at the airport. One of her husband's friends lent them money to book flights. That's how they were able to return. They did try to come to our house to argue with us, but we turned them away. Jenny came along about 2 weeks later to beg me to let go of the lawsuit. Her husband was talking about divorcing her because he didn't want to shoulder her crimes. He was pissed that her plans failed, and he wanted no part of what's to follow anymore. Jenny had no money to fight the divorce or the lawsuit, so she came to seek mercy. I still didn't care and told her not to contact us again. Well, the lawsuit went through and Jenny barely avoided jail time. She was put on a repayment plan and would be in danger of going to jail if she skipped any payments. She was forced to get a job because the alimony from her divorce wasn't going to be enough for her. Yes, her husband divorced her after all. He also got custody of the kids since he moved in with his mom while Jenny was homeless for a while. They lost their house since I stopped helping with rent. We still get to see the kids a lot since my brother-in-law's mom is pretty cooperative. So I got my revenge and I'm slowly getting my money back. Meanwhile, Jenny is stuck at a shitty job to pay me off, and it looks like her life would be like this for a while now. Hello, wonderful readers. I'm Lucy. I'm sure you have already heard enough nightmare mother-in-law stories, but I have a different story for you. I will tell you about my nightmare father-in-law, Ricky. My now husband, Evan, was actually my fiancé when this happened. We had been happily engaged for like 3 months when Evan came home to tell me this. "My dad wants to move in with us, Lucy. He said that he got evicted and had nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. I didn't say anything." "Oh, that's a pretty specific demand. Can't he just rent somewhere else? Why does he need to move in with us?" "I have no frickin' clue, Lucy. He said that he was low on money and couldn't afford rent right now. Maybe that is why he got evicted in the first place. I don't know what to do." Evan seemed to be at an impasse with his dad. Some background on Evan's family is needed for you guys to understand the situation better. Evan's parents are divorced and don't even talk to each other anymore. His mom walked out on his dad after years of verbal abuse. Ricky was somewhat of a staunch patriarch and always demeaned women. I have met that man twice and understand why Evan's mom upped and left. Now, Evan grew up in both his mom's and dad's household. His dad was very controlling and never let Evan show his emotions. A lot of other things happened which ultimately made Evan go low contact with his dad. His father, of course, doesn't think he is the problem. He thinks that Evan is just weak. When suggested therapy, his dad simply said that men don't go to therapy. You get the picture now. They talked very rarely, but Ricky had been reaching out more often after my engagement with Evan. It was kind of suspicious. I will say that I wasn't exactly thrilled at the idea of Ricky living with us. I owned my house outright and I didn't want some patriarch trying to order me around. But I also wanted Evan to try and see if his father had changed, so I said, "You can let him stay here for some time, Evan. Make sure he knows that it's not permanent." "Are you really okay with that, Lucy? I don't want you to be uncomfortable and miserable in your own house. You know how my dad can be." "I know, Evan, but it's been years and it looks like he is trying to make amends with you. Just give him a chance and see. That way you can always say that you tried." "All right, Lucy. I'll tell him that he can stay for a few months, but if he tries something stupid, you will tell me and we will kick him out." So Evan decided to give his father a chance and told him to stay with us. His father was elated and thanked him for his assistance, but his mother had personally called me up and told me that it was a good idea. That made me very scared. But I didn't stop the move. I knew that I wasn't really going to be bullied out by Ricky no matter what. Besides, my soon-to-be mother-in-law also offered to help if I needed to deal with Ricky. I was confident that everything would turn out fine and there wouldn't be many problems. Oh boy, was I wrong. Ricky moved in with us and immediately started to criticize my decor. He loved the house, but he hated the decorations I did inside. He turned up his nose and said, "Who the hell decorated this house? I'm guessing it was you, Lucy. No man would live in a house like this." Yes, it was me who decorated it. Evan told me to go ahead and do what I liked. He didn't have any preferences. "Oh, please. I know you pressured him into this. Evan has been acting differently and forgetting that he shouldn't be manipulated by any woman. But that would change soon. I have come here to make sure you don't take advantage of him anymore." "I'm not sure how I am manipulating my fiancé in any way, Ricky, and I would really appreciate it if you don't speak to me like that." Ricky simply ignored me and went about his way. It was bizarre how rude he was to me when I was home. He kept ordering me to cook for him and bring him stuff. I am not a homemaker and actually work from home, but Ricky treated me like his personal assistant. Eventually, Evan noticed these things and told his dad off. He said, "My wife is not your servant, Dad. You need to stop ordering her around. You are a grown man and perfectly capable of doing things on your own." "Women are meant to take care of men. You've been giving your fiancée too much priority, Evan. And you aren't even married yet. Look how she complained to you and it has only been 2 days. "Lucy didn't complain to me, Dad. I can see how you have been ordering her around. Besides, I'm her fiancé, and she has every right to complain to me about people making her uncomfortable." "What has gotten into you, Evan? You should let her know her place. Pampering her and shielding her is not a solution. She will end up being in control of your life and take everything from you. One of these days you will wake up and realize what a gold digger your fiancé is, and you will be sorry." "I will say this once, Dad. You will never speak about my fiancé like that. She is not a gold digger, and you will not insult her again. This is not your house, so you don't get to say what happens here. You are a guest, and you need to remember that. Don't take our generosity for granted." Ricky seemed taken aback by Evan's behavior. He shut up really quickly, but was red with anger. I was baffled to know that he expected me to be at his beck and call like a servant. I was already starting to question my decision, and so was Evan. We talked about the situation and decided to give Ricky a little more time to adjust. The next few days were slightly better. Ricky still ordered me around, but not as much as before. However, I often saw him try to move furniture or take down my decorations. I simply didn't want an argument with him, so I avoided a confrontation. But that was a mistake on my part. About 5 days after Ricky moved with us, I came home to my bags packed and out on the patio. I was out grocery shopping and had no clue why my stuff was sitting outside my house. I rang the doorbell and Ricky came out with a smug look on his face. I was honestly pretty confused about what was going on. Evan had already left for the office, so I had to talk to Ricky to figure out what was going on. I said, "What is this, Ricky? Why is my stuff outside? Did you do this?" "Oh, yes, it was all me, Lucy. I had to make sure you don't make excuses to go inside when I tell you what I'm about to tell you." "I am honestly very confused, Ricky. You need to tell me what the hell is going on." "Well, I'm kicking you out of my son's house. You will leave and find a different place for yourself." It took me a while to register what he was saying. It was simply too bizarre and sudden for it to make sense to me. I was already feeling uncomfortable with the fact that Ricky went through my stuff and packed it up for me, but the most upsetting fact was that he was trying to kick me out of my own home. I also didn't miss how he called it his son's home. Everything just made my head spin. I looked at Ricky and said, "You have to be kidding me. What the hell are you even saying?" "You heard what I said, Lucy. I'm the head of this house now, and I won't allow a gold digger like you to stay here anymore." "You are freaking crazy, Ricky. This is ridiculous. You can't just kick me out of the house like that. Did you even talk to Evan about this?" "I can and I will, Lucy. I don't need my son's permission for anything. I'm his father, so he will agree with whatever I do." "But why are you even doing this? You are not making any sense. What's the point of kicking me out?" "I won't let my son hand over his house to you. He can be a little naive when he's with you. Also, I've seen how you manipulate him into doing women's work. I need to save my son by kicking you out. You think I don't know your intentions?" "Oh, really, Ricky? Then enlighten me by telling me what exactly are my intentions." "I'm not stupid, Lucy. I know you will somehow make Evan share his house with you. I know women like you. You will marry Evan for his money and then divorce him so that you can take his wealth. The moment you marry him, you will make him give you the house. I won't let that happen." "So your plan is to kick me out of the house and then what, Ricky? How will this make any difference?" "Well, after I kick you out, I will make my son sign over this house to me. He knows that only men should own houses. I will take my time and make him sign over this house before your wedding. That way, you will never have any claim over this beautiful house." I literally laughed at Ricky while he told me his elaborate plan of making the house in his name. He did think about this a lot and came up with a plan he thought was perfect. He was convinced that his son, who doesn't even like him anymore, would hand over the house to him just because he's a man. He was delusional to think he had that much power over Evan. He was going to get the shock of his life soon, and it will be for 2 different reasons. I got the first opportunity to tell him how his plan wasn't foolproof. I said, "Ricky, that's a great plan, actually, but I don't think it will work at all here. You wasted all your time and energy for nothing." "Oh, don't act smart with me, Lucy. I won't let you manipulate me or my son. I will get through his head faster than you can. I will make him see the truth and hand over the house to me." "I don't think he can just hand over the house to you, Ricky. You may have some misconceptions about this house." "What the hell do you mean? Have you already asked Evan to make you a co-owner?" "I won't let that happen. I won't let you steal his house. I don't know how it would be possible for me to steal this house. And I don't know why you keep calling this your son's house, Ricky. This house was never your son's to begin with. What? Don't you frickin' lie to me, woman. I know for a fact that you are not renting. My son has said that it is a personal property, so I know this is his house. Evan didn't lie, Ricky. This house is personal property, but it's not his. The house is actually mine. I am the sole owner of this place. My soon-to-be father-in-law looked shocked when I revealed the truth to him. It was like he couldn't comprehend what I had just said. My super patriarchal father-in-law couldn't believe that a woman, especially like me, could even own a house like this. For a moment he stood there in shock, but then he surprised me by bursting into laughter like I had told a joke. He said, "That was a nice one, Lucy. You are a funny woman. But you are also delusional. This house is not yours. It belongs to my son, and, like I said, I won't let him hand it over to you." I'm not joking with you, Ricky. If you just let me inside the house, I can even show you the proof that this house belongs to me. I got it shortly after Evan proposed. That's impossible. You are lying to get rid of me. A woman like you cannot own a house. You are bluffing. It won't work with me. Is that so, Ricky? Do you really think I'm bluffing? Why don't we call your son here and ask him? He will tell you the truth, right? Let's see what he has to say. Ricky was confident that I was lying to him. In his smugness, he told me to go ahead and call Evan. I immediately called Evan and told him that he needed to come home immediately. Evan was a little concerned and got to the house in record time. When he got out of his car and walked towards us, he noticed my bags outside. He looked really confused about why my stuff was lying around in the front yard. He walked up to us and said, "What happened? What's going on here, Lucy? Why is your stuff outside?" "Well, your father had the bright idea of kicking me out today. He even kindly packed my bags and brought them outside so that I won't waste time packing." "Wait a damn minute. My dad did what?" Evan was genuinely surprised and super angry. I looked over at Ricky and saw that he was a little uncomfortable in his quest to prove me a liar. He forgot the fact that he was throwing me out of the house without even consulting Evan. When he looked at his son's angry face, he realized that things would not be as easy as he had thought. He quickly took hold of the conversation and said, "Evan, I promise I have a reason to do this. I know I should have talked to you, but I am the man of this house now. I did what I thought was right." "What bullshit are you talking about, Dad? You are not the man of the house. You were just a guest. And you had no right to try and kick my fiancé out of the house." "Come on, Evan. You know well enough that I will always be the man of the house, especially since I'm here now. I'm your father, after all. Did you forget everything I taught you?" "Oh, I do remember whatever bullshit you had taught me when I was young. They are useless and do nothing but put you in control. You groomed me to accept whatever bad decision you made for your own benefit." Ricky now looked even more shocked with the way Evan talked to him. I was so freaking proud of my fiancé. I didn't even have to say anything at all. He was super angry at Ricky and lashed out at him for trying to kick me out. And he got even more pissed when Ricky tried to sort of discipline him and claim to be the man of the house. Ricky was now visibly shaken and said, "That's no way to talk to your father, Evan. This is not what I taught you. I see that your fiancé has already started to turn you against me. Now I'm even more convinced that I'm doing the right thing in throwing her out." "No one has taught me anything, Dad. I realized a long time back what a selfish and egotistical jerk you are. And you have no right to throw my fiancé out. How the hell do you think this is okay? Why do you think I will support this?" "Evan, you need to hear me out. This woman is already poisoning you against me. I'm seeing this with my own eyes. Eventually she will marry you and make you hand over this precious house to her. You will lose, Evan, and I am trying to avoid that." "Oh, really, Dad? You seem to have the exact idea of how Lucy will make this house her own. Listen to me, Evan. Let's kick Lucy out, and then you can sign over the house to me. That way, your house will be safe, even if Lucy tries to divorce you." Ricky thought he was being smart in his explanation. Honestly, I still couldn't understand if he was that dense or just seriously messed up in the head. He didn't even stop to think how his son would react to his grand plan. He was just so sure that his son would agree with him and throw me out. Well, he looked really shocked when Evan practically yelled at him and said, "How dare you even suggest that my fiancé is a gold digger when it's you who wants to take the house? You made this grand plan just so you can make this house yours. Am I right, Dad?" "Evan, you are taking this the wrong way. Lucy will take this house away from you. You need to be the sole owner of this place as a man. I'm just looking out for your best interests." "I don't need you to meddle in my life, Dad. And why the hell did you automatically assume that I was the owner of the house? How is Lucy going to steal the house when it is her property?" I was smirking hard when Evan confirmed what I had told Ricky. For Ricky, this was a big blow. All his plans were for nothing. He wasn't going to have his name on a house anymore. His dreams had been crushed. Ricky was now feeling a little shaken and couldn't understand what he should say. He looked at Evan with a dumbstruck expression, willing him to say that he was joking. I decided to do a little victory dance in my head and poke fun at Ricky, saying, "There you go, Ricky. Your own son cleared it up for you. This house is mine and not his." "That is impossible. Evan is lying to protect you. You are not capable of buying a house." "Oh, shut up, Dad, for God's sake. Lucy's perfectly capable of buying a house on her own. She doesn't need to steal it from someone like you had planned. Looks like we should be throwing you out instead of Lucy." Ricky was now visibly panicking at this suggestion. He was kind of scared that we would throw him out after this incident. He was with us for only 5 days, so it's not like he could claim tenancy or something. Ricky knew he was in deep shit, so he tried to deflect and make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. He laughed nervously and said, "No, now, don't joke with your poor father. We don't need to do anything drastic." "Oh yes, we definitely need to do something drastic, just like you did. What's the matter, Dad? Can't take the same treatment that you dish out?" "Come on now, Evan. This is just a simple misunderstanding. Your fiancée is very smart with money. I'm impressed with her." "I don't think she's really impressed with you, Dad, especially since you didn't even apologize to her." "Oh, right. I'm sorry for the misconception, Lucy. You can come right back in. This is your house after all." Ricky was now changing his tactics because he had no place to go. I could feel his nervousness and was kind of feeling good about it. But if he thought I was going to let him get away with this behavior, he was dead wrong. And I didn't buy his apology at all, so I hummed in response and said, "I don't know, Ricky. You were right. I can go back into the house since I own it, but I don't think you can." "What? What do you mean, Lucy?" "The fact that you just tried to kick me out isn't sitting well with me. You also touched my stuff without my permission. I don't trust you around my house anymore." "Oh, come on, Lucy. It was a simple misunderstanding. Don't make it into a big deal. Let's just go back in and forget what happened. I already offered you an apology. Am I right, Evan?" "I don't think your apology would make a difference anymore, Dad. You crossed your limits and showed us exactly who you are. I don't want you in the house either, but it's Lucy's decision to make. What do you say, Lucy?" "Well, I say that you are not welcome to stay at my house anymore, Ricky. I will be respectful towards you and let you pack your own stuff, but I want you out today. You are not welcome to stay here. In fact, you are never welcome to come back here for any reason." Yes, I was kicking my soon-to-be father-in-law out of my house. What he did was unacceptable, and I wasn't in the mood to give second chances. His own son didn't want him around the house either. That sealed the deal for me. I was proud of Evan for standing up for me. However, Ricky was not in a good position now. He was really anxious and kept telling us that we were making a big deal out of nothing. Ricky tried for a few hours to change our minds. He kept pleading with me and asked for forgiveness multiple times. It was somewhat satisfying to see him ask mercy from a woman. Serves him just right after the stunt he pulled on me. He also tried to make Evan change his mind about kicking him out. After a while, I and Evan both got tired and threatened to call the cops if he didn't leave. That got him up on his feet and right into packing. When Ricky was finally leaving with his stuff, he looked miserable and hung his head in shame. As a final parting gift, we told him never to contact us anymore. Evan went one step ahead and uninvited him from his wedding. Ricky once again pleaded with us for a second chance, but it was just not happening. He went on to live with a sister of his who doesn't take his shit at all. She came to our wedding, San's father-in-law, and told us how he had been schooled into submission at her house. He is now living a miserable life, working a low-paying job and being dependent on a woman. Hello there, my avid readers. I'm Autumn, and I'm here to tell you a little story about how I reported my mother-in-law, Eleanor, to the cops. I know, this may seem to be drastic and unnecessary for a lot of people, but I felt really good slapping my greedy mother-in-law with a lawsuit. Now, what did she do to deserve this treatment from me? You will find out once you read my story. Let me just get the basics out of the way. You already know about me and Eleanor. There's also my husband Connor and sister-in-law Celeste, who are equally important in the story. Connor and I were your classic college sweethearts turned married couple. Our relationship went very smoothly over the years and we never had trouble with our own families. In fact, I really considered Celeste to be like a friend and sister to me. Yes, we were that close. Now, I wasn't close to my mother-in-law, Eleanor, in the beginning. I won't lie and say that she was impolite. She was civil, although a little lost in her own world. She loved to talk about herself, and someday I had doubts that she was a narcissist. Anyway, I didn't pay much attention to Eleanor since she wasn't that interested in me. However, things changed when I got a great job and landed a good inheritance from my grandparents. Suddenly my mother-in-law was a little too talkative with me and kept coming over to our house. Initially I was happy because I thought it would finally let us have a good connection. However, Eleanor was trying to have a good relationship with me for a very different reason. Soon she started to make demands and expected me to cater to them. She regularly kept asking me to buy her ridiculous things even after I had expressed my discomfort. She had said, "Autumn, you need to learn to be a little generous. Your selfishness has become very apparent recently. You have so much money now and you should be helping us out with that." I'm willing to help out when it's necessary, but I don't feel comfortable getting you something that is just a luxury. What nonsense, Autumn. We don't draw boundaries between families. You really should be willing to share everything with your family. I have been dying to have those diamond earrings of yours. I love that design. I was hoping you would give it to me for my birthday. The diamond earrings she was referring to were the heirloom earrings that were handed down to me by my mother. They were in my family for 6 generations and I got it after my grandma died. Those earrings also belonged to my mother, who regularly wore them before she passed away when I was 10. Since I was a minor, my grandma kept it with her to make sure it was safe. The pair of earrings had a lot of sentimental value attached to it, and Eleanor knew that. I had no clue why Eleanor thought it would be a good idea to ask me to give them to her. She wasn't lying when she said that she wanted those earrings. Eleanor had actually kept harassing me for months to get those earrings, but I had told her in no uncertain terms that she would never get them. Even Connor, who usually just gives in to her demands, clearly told her that those earrings were off limits. But that didn't stop her from pestering me. Slowly, I was getting tired of Eleanor's constant demands. She was truly an entitled and selfish person and had no regard for others. I was starting to maintain my distance from Celeste, especially since she kept asking for my earrings. It was getting rather annoying. However, I wasn't completely aware of just how severe Eleanor's obsession was with my earrings. It was Celeste who opened my eyes to it. Celeste randomly called me on my lunch break and asked to talk. She sounded nervous, and I immediately knew something was wrong. I said, "Celeste, are you okay? You sound nervous." "I'm completely fine, Autumn. You don't have to worry about me. I just need to talk to you about something." "Sure, I'm free right now. Tell me what you want to discuss." Autumn, I'm sorry for asking you something personal, but do you happen to keep your heirloom earrings in your closet? I was a little taken aback by this question. Out of all things Celeste could have said, I never would have expected this. She even sounded a little embarrassed when she said it to me. I was really confused, but decided to grace her with an answer. She really was a good friend to me, and I trusted her. I said, "Yes, I do keep it in my closet, Celeste. I really have to ask why you were asking me that. Look, this will come as a huge shock to you, but I think my mom has been planning something. I'm afraid she has lost her mind." "What do you mean, Celeste? You need to tell me what's going on." "Autumn, Mom wants to steal your earrings and replace them with a cheap replica. She even ordered one at my friend's store. I thought they were for her because she liked the design. Well, it's not." Again, I wasn't expecting to hear this at all. It seriously made no sense to me. Why would my mother-in-law go out of her way to do something like this? Was Celeste sure that Eleanor was planning to steal my diamond earrings? Sure, she was really enamored with it, but was she going that far to get them? I knew I had to ask Celeste for more information. I didn't want to be paranoid about something that Eleanor maybe wasn't even planning to do. I said, "Are you sure that your mom is planning to replace my diamond earrings with fake ones? Maybe she did get the earrings made for herself. It might be possible." "Trust me, Autumn, I really wanted it to be the case, but it's not. Mom actually spilled the beans to me yesterday. I was going mad thinking about what to do. Honestly, I had a hard time believing it myself. This is very serious, Celeste. I would like to think that my mother-in-law is a decent woman, albeit a little greedy. Maybe I was a little delusional about Eleanor as well. I simply didn't think that anyone I knew would be capable of stealing things. The fact that my own mother-in-law was doing something horrible didn't sit well with me, so I had to be sure that Celeste knew what she was talking about. Celeste immediately told me. I thought so too until she talked about stealing your earrings. God, she even tried to make me agree with her by saying that she would leave the earrings to me as my inheritance. It's just downright disgusting. Oh God, Eleanor must have lost her shit. Thanks for telling me, Celeste. You could have given in to your mother's promises and kept this information from me. I really appreciate your honesty. There was no way I wasn't telling you, Autumn. I just needed some time to believe it myself. Anyway, now that you know, you should be careful about your stuff. I don't want you to lose something so precious and sentimental because of my own mother. Celeste and I talked for a little while before hanging up. She hadn't told Connor about what my mother-in-law told her. She wanted to inform me first. I wasn't sure about telling Connor either. I mean, he did have a tendency to shield his mother and dismiss her behavior. He does draw boundaries with her, but I think she forgives her a little too easily. Besides, I wasn't going to accuse or confront Eleanor without proof. I didn't want to be the bad guy when I was not. So I came up with a plan instead. I actually ended up installing security cameras in my closet room. I told Connor that I wanted to have every inch of the house protected. There have been several break-ins near our house, so we were both considering having cameras in the closet room. After all, we did keep our valuables in the closet. So Connor didn't get suspicious when I asked for cameras in the closet room. With that out of the way, I simply waited for Eleanor to make her appearance or tell Celeste about how she had completed her mission. Guys, Celeste wasn't kidding or exaggerating when she said that Eleanor was trying to steal my diamond earrings. She did exactly like Celeste had warned me about. She had called me a week later and said, "Autumn, Mom said that she had the earrings with her. She even came by the house to show me. I looked for the engraving that you talked about. It's there. She took your earrings. She wasn't here when I was at the house. Maybe she came by when Connor was home. He wouldn't suspect his mother of stealing things, so he may not have kept an eye on her." Yes, that's exactly what she did. She came by yesterday when you were out for dinner with your friends. Connor was home and he didn't suspect a thing, of course. She told me everything. You need to go check and see if she replaced your earrings. I hung up on Celeste and immediately went to check on my earrings. It was a Sunday, so I was off from work. Connor was home too, so if Eleanor had really done it, I would be able to explain everything to him without Eleanor getting to him first. I went into my closet and pulled out the earrings from my jewelry drawer. No, I don't have it in the locker because I wear it often. Well, I inspected the earrings and saw that it was indeed a fake and rather cheap replica. Eleanor had actually stolen my earrings. I sent a quick text to Celeste confirming what Eleanor told her. I also checked the security footage to see if it had caught my mother-in-law stealing my earrings. It did its job and got a clear video of what Eleanor did. Then I went to talk to Connor. I was a little nervous because I didn't know how he would react. I was going to come clean to him about everything because I didn't want any misconceptions between us. Connor might love his mom, but he was also a reasonable guy, so I had high hopes that he would side with me. I went to Connor and told him everything. I even showed him the earrings and how it was missing the engravings. He was stunned and looked really stricken. He said, "I don't know, Autumn. I'm finding it hard to believe that Mom would do something like this. Are you sure it was her? Maybe she was joking with Celeste and she took it the wrong way." "I don't think so, Connor. Actually, I'm sure she is the one who replaced my earrings. Remember the security camera we put in the closet room? It caught Eleanor taking and replacing my earrings." "What the hell, Autumn? Do you have it on video? Show me right now. I need to see it. If my mom has done this, I will not spare her. I can assure you that." I quickly pulled out my phone to show Connor solid proof that Eleanor had stolen my earrings. He looked at the security footage quietly and didn't say a word. After the footage ended, he sat there for a while saying nothing. I was, again, a little unsure what he would say or do next. He sighed heavily and said, "I believe we should call her over to talk about this, Autumn. We really need to confront her. I'm sorry I let her wander around the house without supervision. I shouldn't have given her the chance to do anything." "It's okay, Connor. You wouldn't have known. No one would think that their mother is capable of theft. Besides, she knew that you trusted her, and that's why she came when I wasn't around." "She misused my trust, Autumn. I feel terrible about this. God knows what would have happened if we hadn't caught it on camera. I'm freaking pissed at this, Autumn. Why aren't you more upset?" "I had known for a while since Celeste told me everything. For me, it was a matter of waiting. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to make accusations without proof. Plus, even I was hoping that she wouldn't actually go through with her plan." Connor and I sat in silence while he texted his mother to come over as soon as possible. Eleanor was in a cheerful mood, so she agreed immediately. She had no idea what was in store for her. Meanwhile, me and Connor eventually decided to talk about what our next steps would be. I said, "Connor, I don't want Eleanor to get away with this. She knew that the earrings were sentimental to me. She shouldn't have taken it. Plus, she grossly violated our boundaries and did something unthinkable." "I agree with you, Autumn. There's absolutely no doubt anymore that my mom is the culprit here. We absolutely need to let her face the consequences of her actions. What do you have in mind?" "To be honest, Connor, I'm actually considering calling the cops. I want to press charges against her. I won't cause a lot of trouble, but I really can't have her think everything is forgivable." Connor was thinking hard about what I said. Calling the cops on Eleanor would be a big move. I wasn't sure Connor would be on board with this. No one wants to see their mom go to jail, but I was telling him the truth when I said that I wanted to press charges. I felt like it was necessary. My husband thought for a few seconds before saying, "I agree with you, Autumn. Calling the cops would be the right thing to do. If it was someone else, we would have called the cops anyway. We can't let Mom get away with her actions just because she's my mother." "Really, Connor? You would support my decision if I call the cops on Eleanor?" "Absolutely, Autumn. Do what's necessary. You don't have to think so hard. Like I said, this is the right thing to do. Besides, I was thinking of going low contact for some time. I won't feel comfortable having her over or being in her presence for now. I am extremely disgusted with her behavior." I was glad Connor was on my side. It made me feel less guilty and gave me the incentive to actually call the cops on her. But before that, I wanted to let Eleanor tell her own story. I was interested to see what excuse she would come up with to make herself look better. I was also completely on board with going low contact with her. It was an added bonus for me. Eleanor arrived in about 30 minutes and walked in looking extremely smug. Like I said, she was in a good mood after stealing my earrings and thinking she wouldn't get caught. But when she took one look at our serious expressions, she quickly became nervous. She said, "Hey guys, what's going on? You two look very serious right now." "You tell us, Eleanor. We are in this mood because of you. Care to explain what you were up to at our house yesterday?" "What? I don't know what you're talking about. I was only here to visit my son." Eleanor was nervous, and it became apparent. She hadn't expected me to outright question her actions and pinpoint the time when she was at our house stealing my stuff. However, she feigned ignorance and looked offended that I was asking about her whereabouts. I pressed on, determined to get the truth out of her. I said, "There's no reason to act so clueless, Eleanor. We know what you did last night. We know exactly why you came by the house when I was away. Are you going to confess, or should I spell it for you?" "What are you even trying to say, Autumn? I have nothing to confess. I didn't do anything wrong." "Fine. Be that way, Eleanor. It doesn't matter whether you confess or not. We know for a fact that you stole my heirloom earrings and replaced it with a cheap replica." Eleanor instantly turned pale and started to shiver a little. It was clear from her body language that she was scared. She had no idea we would ever find out, let alone in a matter of a day. She immediately went into defense mode and started to cry. She said, "How dare you accuse me of something so horrible, Autumn? Have you no shame? I'm your mother-in-law." "I'm not accusing you of anything, Eleanor. I'm simply telling the truth. You are the one who stole my heirloom earrings." "Are you hearing this, Connor? Your wife is accusing me of such a horrible crime. Aren't you going to say something?" "What do you want me to say, Mom? I never thought you were capable of doing something like this. I'm so ashamed that I don't even want to look at you." Eleanor had not expected Connor to take my side. She had thought that crying to Connor and painting herself as a victim would get her out of the situation. She was willing to lie and throw me under the bus to save myself. I wanted to laugh at her pathetic attempt at turning the narrative. She kept crying and said, "Connor, you have to believe me, son. I didn't do anything. I knew how sentimental those earrings were to her. Do you think I'm capable of doing something like this?" "No, I didn't think you would be capable of doing something like this, but you did do it, Mom. We have plenty of proof against you." "Connor, how can you say that with so much resolve? I'm telling you, Eleanor's making up lies. I don't know what proof she showed you, but it's completely fabricated." "You needed to think hard before saying that, Eleanor. We wouldn't have confronted you without solid proof." "That is impossible. You're making baseless accusations. You have nothing against me. All you said are lies. I'm innocent." "Eleanor, you planned your move very well. We almost didn't catch you. You did everything possible not to arouse suspicions when you stole my earrings. Unfortunately for you, there was one thing you never thought about. I have a camera in my room, Eleanor. I know what you did. We have clear footage of your crime." Eleanor was now stunned into silence. That was something she had never expected. It's common for people to put security cameras outside their home, but very few people put cameras inside their homes, let alone in their closets. So it didn't occur to Eleanor that there might be cameras in the room. She was shocked and scared when she realized that she had been truly caught. Immediately she started to cry and held her head in her hands. Connor was extremely pissed off and said, "There is no use crying now, Mom. You made a horrible decision on your own, so you don't have the right to feel sad." "I'm so sorry, Connor. You know I always wanted a pair of diamond earrings. I asked Autumn repeatedly to give me hers, but she wouldn't listen, so I was forced to do this." "Don't you dare try to pin the blame on me, Eleanor. No one in their right mind would give you their heirloom jewelry. You are not entitled to anything just because you are my mother-in-law. You have so many nice things, Autumn. Why couldn't you give me just one? This is all your fault. You should have been generous and offered me the earrings. That's why I wouldn't have had to steal them. Classic Eleanor was blaming me instead of accepting her mistakes wholeheartedly. She was trying hard to deflect the blame and somehow make me the bad guy. She was an expert in this and thought Connor would give in. However, Connor wasn't impressed with her tactics at all. Instead, it made him mad as hell. He basically yelled at her and said, "Mom, how can you still blame my wife for your crimes? You have no shame, do you? Any decent person in your place would be begging for forgiveness, but you are just shifting blame on Autumn." "Connor, you have to take pity on your poor mother. I got momentarily weak and did something stupid. Your wife needs to calm down and let it go." "No, my wife doesn't need to calm down and let it go. In fact, she will be pressing charges against you today. You shouldn't have stolen her earrings, Mom. Now you have to deal with the consequences." Eleanor started to bawl on my living room carpet while she begged us to spare her. She could see that her one son was no longer supporting her, and when Connor talked about calling the cops, she realized that none of her tactics would work. Things were serious, and we wouldn't just let her go this time. Eleanor begged for ages before we kicked her out of the house. Connor also clearly told her not to contact us again since we didn't want her around anymore. The next morning, I went to the police station with Connor to report Eleanor to the cops. I also provided the security camera footage as proof of her crime. The cops were quick and got her arrested from her home that very day. She did get bail, but the case would go to court anyway. Eleanor was now in full panic mode, and even Celeste wasn't talking to her anymore. She tried a lot of tactics to make us forgive her and even return my earrings through Connor. However, we were adamant about going through with the case. From what my lawyer tells me, she probably won't get jail time, but will have to pay a hefty fine. And guess what, guys? She should even have to pay my lawyer's fees. So that was the story about my scheming mother-in-law who got a little too greedy for her own good. The lawsuit against her hasn't been settled yet, but things are looking good for me. I have my valuable earrings back with me while Eleanor is spending her time alone thinking about how she would come up with the money to pay me. Her children no longer contact her anymore, and from what I hear, she is miserable right now. I don't know if we will ever have a relationship in the future again, but for now, I won't have to worry about her antics anymore. Hi to everyone who's come to read my story. I'm Blair. And just last night, I decided to share my own story about my mother-in-law, Renee, with you guys. This is going to be a juicy story, so hold on to your seats. Archer, my husband, is the absolute love of my life, but his mother is a walking disaster who hates me with all her being. My mother-in-law, Renee, is an extremely hateful woman who burned a lot of bridges in her life. I truly believe she has some sort of mental health problem that she absolutely refused to get checked out. Her carry antics and insane controlling issues made my father-in-law Victor divorce her a few years back. Victor had warned me about her. He said, "You need to be a little careful about your soon-to-be mother-in-law, Blair. She is a nutcase." I have met her already, Victor. I know how she is. Besides, even Archer had given me plenty of warnings. "I don't know why you two even put up with her. I only stayed in the marriage long enough to see Archer graduate. After that, no power on earth could keep me with her. To be honest, it is still very difficult to be with her dad, but she's still my mom. We still want a relationship with her. I'm hoping she'll come to her senses and accept Blair." "That seems highly unlikely, Archer, especially because of the fact that she is going around the city claiming that your relationship won't last. Also, heads up, she is back in contact with your ex, Archer. She's planning something." Now that information got our heads reeling. Like I said, Renee hated me and wanted Archer to break up with me. She also kept telling him how his ex, who cheated on him, was his true love. But we never realized she was serious about that. We had no idea she was actually back in contact with the ex. I had a feeling that our recent engagement had something to do with this. Archer's ex kept trying to get back with him, so Renee must have joined hands with her. The very possibility was scary to think about. Archer felt that same way. After receiving information about Renee's contact with Archer's ex, my fiancé had a big fight with his mom. He had told her to stop with her antics and accept the fact that he was getting married to me. Renee didn't like that one bit and had called to threaten me. She had said, "You think you can take my son away from me, Blair? You are dead wrong. I will freaking destroy your relationship." "You are freaking crazy. Do you know that, Renee? I have tried for years to have a relationship with you, but you have treated me very unfairly. I don't even know what to say to you anymore. Do yourself a favor and get out of my son's life. I won't let you marry him, I can promise you that." I didn't take Renee's threat lightly. I had immediately informed Archer, who was even more furious about this. After that incident, we had very little contact with Renee. Renee was still adamant about breaking us up. She kept trying to set Archer up on dates with his ex and even showed up to his workplace with her. Things were slowly escalating and we were going mad. But when we all got invited to a family party, Victor revealed something even more problematic. He showed up to our house and said, "Guys, Renee's been planning to bring Archer's ex to the party, and she's been telling everyone that he's engaged to her." What the hell, Dad? How do you know this? Renee told a mutual friend her plan who didn't agree with her, so the friend came up to me and told me to warn you. Thank you for telling us, Archer. Now, I really don't want to be at the party. I just can't take her drama anymore. It's like I'm constantly in a state of worry about what she will do next. Oh, no, Blair. Why would you back out of a party when Renee is the problem? All we have to do is just take the limelight away from her and show her that she doesn't own us. Do you have a plan, Dad? I don't know what to do. It would be of great help if you support us. Of course I will support you two guys. You are the best couple I know. Don't worry, Renee won't have a chance to talk about you since I will be bringing my girlfriend to the party as well. Now, the thing is that my mother-in-law was still in love with my father-in-law. She had tried her best to stop the divorce, but Victor hadn't listened to her at all. Renee still has the dream of getting back with him and thinks that they belong with each other. At other events, she has thrown tantrums when Victor brought his girlfriends or dates. She also made some pretty pathetic attempts at getting him back. Victor was so pissed off and done with Renee's shit that he stopped keeping contact with her altogether and came to mutual events alone. She never got the hint and still tries to pretend that they are on a break. I guess that was one of the reasons why she desperately wanted Archer's ex to get back with him. She was probably projecting. Anyway, her entire plan was pretty absurd and we were all pissed about it. Victor's plan was starting to look like a good way to shut Renee up. He said, "It's time I bring my girlfriend and introduce her to everyone. Renee has been going around calling herself my wife and it's getting on my nerves." Seriously, Dad? Mom has been saying that stuff? This is ridiculous. Is that why you don't bring your girlfriend to any party? Yes. I stopped bringing my girlfriends to events because we both wanted to avoid conflicts. But we have no reason to hide anyone or be scared of Renee. It's time she understands that we are in the past. If you go through with this plan, Renee might make a scene at the party. Are the hosts okay with that? Don't worry, Blair. I'll talk to them and make sure they are comfortable with this. Also, I will be announcing my engagement to my girlfriend there. Renee won't have the chance to spoil the party for you. I will make sure of it. Victor's plan was truly amazing. He had been taking Renee's shit for a long time now and something needed to be done. The fact that he chose to tell us about Renee's plans and how we could stop her antics proved how much he cared about both me and Archer. He could have easily avoided this conflict since it's not his problem. Still, he chose to help us get some petty revenge against Renee. After Victor left, I decided that I needed to have a serious conversation with Archer about his mom. He knew this conversation was coming, and his face told me that he wanted it to happen that day itself. So I took the initiative to begin the conversation and said, "Archer, I've given your mother plenty of chances to improve her behavior. Instead, she ended up making plans to humiliate me in public. This is not fair, Archer." "I understand that, Blair. I'm surprised my mom would take things so far. She didn't like my ex back when we were dating. I don't even know why she's doing this." "She hadn't expected us to last, let alone get engaged. It's bugging her that you have been standing up for me. I guess she saw this as a way to stop our engagement." "I think you're right about that. God, I wish my mom wasn't so complicated. She is literally ruining our relationship, and I don't even know if I want her around anymore." That was exactly what I wanted to hear from Archer. I was glad that he was starting to see how cutting off his mother would be a good idea. I was dreading having Renee in our lives after all the stunts she pulled to break us up. I didn't trust her, and I wanted nothing to do with her anymore. This was my chance to make sure we didn't give Renee another opportunity to humiliate us or try to cause problems. So I said, "I agree with you, Archer. I really don't want Renee around anymore. I've taken enough of her antics and got humiliated multiple times already. I think going no contact, at least for now, would be best." "I understand that, Blair. Mom had been given a lot of chances already. She's proven that she won't change. I have already asked enough of you and saw how many times you were humiliated because of me. I should have stood up for you sooner." "You did try your best, but what can we do? At least people won't be able to tell us that we cut her off without giving her a chance to change. But this has to stop now. We need to cut her off before she ends up causing trouble at the wedding." "Yes, I've been worried that she would do something stupid to mess up the wedding too. We'll definitely go no contact with her for now, and if you feel uncomfortable, we can even disinvite her from the wedding." "That is a good idea, since I don't want any unnecessary drama at our wedding. But let's see what Renee does at the party. Then you can decide. She's your mom, so I want you to decide what to do." I was feeling really happy after my conversation with Archer. It made me realize that I had chosen the right man. He was willing to go to great lengths to make sure Renee never caused problems again. But I knew he was sad about his mom, so I wanted him to make the decision. Parents are a sensitive spot for us, so it would be best for Archer to make this decision. However, given my history with Renee, I was pretty confident she would mess up royally, and Archer would disinvite her from the wedding. With all our plans set, it was finally time for us to attend the party. Victor had called us to say that the host was in complete agreement with us. The hosts were family members who were forced to invite Renee because of social etiquette. They adored me and Archer, so the news of Renee causing trouble really got on their nerves. Thankfully, they agreed to support us and teach Renee a good lesson. The party was already in full swing when we arrived. Victor told us that he would be late because of work. I was already dreading seeing Renee, but sought her out anyway. The moment I spotted her across the room, I saw that she was smirking at me. Besides her was Archer's ex, who was also eyeing me with a jealous expression on her face. Archer held my hand as we walked up to Renee. She excitedly dragged Archer by the arm towards their group and said, "There you are, Archer. Where have you been all this while? God, you are so late. It was rude of you to leave my daughter-in-law alone like this." "Mom, what the hell are you talking about? I arrived with your daughter-in-law just now. Blair is right behind me. We would have walked in together if you hadn't dragged me away." "I don't want to know about Blair, Archer. No, you should be here giving company to my poor daughter-in-law. She has been eagerly waiting for you. Everyone here has been dying to ask you about your wedding plans." Yes, I heard this conversation when I was slowly walking up to them. Several people around Renee genuinely believe that Archer's ex is now his fiancé. They were asking Archer and his ex about their wedding plans, and Renee was supplying false information freely. Archer was dumbfounded and looked like he really didn't believe his mom would actually do this. I knew that it was time for me to introduce myself and clear out everyone's misconceptions. I went up to everyone and said, "Hello everyone, I'm Blair, Archer's fiancé. I see there's been a misconception about who Archer is engaged to. I hope this clears it up." "Stop talking trash, Blair. And don't you dare insult my daughter-in-law like that. Did you hit your head or something, Renee? I am your daughter-in-law. It seems like you've been having a hard time remembering who Archer is engaged to. Looks like you've been introducing the wrong woman as your daughter-in-law." "Oh, please, your relationship is a sham. It won't last anyway, so people don't have to know you. This girl here is my real daughter-in-law, and only she has the right to be called that." Renee said those words like she meant it. Her hate for me was so profound that she was ready to publicly humiliate not only me but also her son. Archer's ex was smiling at me creepily the whole time while encouraging Renee to call her the real daughter-in-law. It made sense that the two delusional people would stick together. I was starting to see why Archer always stayed the heck away from this girl. She was downright psychotic to go along with Renee's ridiculous plans and act like she was going to be Archer's wife. She even dared to put her arms on Archer, who instantly swatted it away and angrily said, "What the hell is going on here, Mom? Have you freaking lost your mind? Stop playing games with my relationship." "I'm not playing games, Archer. You are the one who is wasting his time on a useless girl. Blair isn't fit for our family or for you. You should be with your real girlfriend. My real daughter-in-law loves you so much." "I don't freaking care how much she loves me. I love Blair, and she is my fiancé. I'm so sorry, everyone. My mother has gone completely crazy. Blair is the one I am engaged to." Archer told everyone the truth and formally introduced me to them. The guests were stunned and looked confused. Renee was fuming, and so was Archer's ex. Archer had straight up called them crazy and corrected everyone about me. The guests also were starting to look very unimpressed with Renee. Everyone already knew what a psycho she was, so it wasn't difficult for them to realize her lies. Renee, however, hadn't given up. She said, "Archer, you were being very disrespectful to your real fiancé. Stop waving your joke of an engagement in front of her face. You were using Blair to hurt her. This is very unfair." "Mom, I've had enough of your antics. You are lucky you're in public, otherwise I would have seriously made a scene here. You have no right to humiliate me and Blair like that." "Archer, you are being extremely stupid. You need to see how much this girl loves you and be with her. Blair won't be a good wife to you. You need to break up with her and finally get together with your true love. This is meant to be, Archer." "You will stop talking to me right now, Mom. I'm at the end of my wits and my patience is running thin. Don't make me do something drastic. You shouldn't have brought my ex here. I will never forgive this." "Oh my God, Archer, I can't believe you're threatening your mother for a gold digger and home wrecker like Blair. She doesn't deserve you, Archer. Blair is intentionally coming between you and your true love. You have to open your eyes and see that." Renee was being super loud and drew everyone's attention. Literally all the guests at the party were hearing our conversation. There were many curious whispers and no one knew who to believe. I was already feeling extremely humiliated and praying for Victor to come soon. Archer was trying his best to fight for me, but his mother was saying some really vile stuff about me. So I gathered my courage and said, "Wow, Renee, you seem to have a lot of knowledge of how to be a homewrecker. I guess years of practice finally taught you something in life." "What the hell do you mean, Blair?" "It's just that I find it funny that you accuse me of being a homewrecker when you are one yourself. You think I don't know how you tried to sabotage Victor's relationships and try to get back with him?" "You have no idea what you're talking about. Victor and I are together now. I am his real wife. There had been some misunderstandings between us, but we will get back together soon." "Is that so, Renee? Then tell me why I see Victor walking in with a beautiful lady on his arm." Renee looked in alarm, while everyone else also turned to see Victor walking in with his new girlfriend. I saw it because he hadn't introduced her to anyone because of my crazy mother-in-law. However, today was the day when we all showed Renee who was in charge, and it certainly wasn't her. Renee started to have tears in her eyes when she saw Victor lovingly introduce his new girlfriend to whoever was near him. Immediately, she discarded her plans to sabotage my relationship and instead focused on Victor. She tearfully walked up to Victor and said,
"Victor, who the hell is she? Why do you have an unknown woman on your arm?"
"Well, this is my girlfriend, Renee. She will actually be my fiancée in a few days. I don't have the right yet, so I haven't been able to propose."
"What are you saying, Victor? I am your wife. You cannot marry this witch. Only I am entitled to be your wife."
Renee sounded like a mad woman. Anyone who didn't know the full story would easily think that Victor was cheating on Renee or something. My dear mother-in-law was in some serious mental health crisis or something. She had even forgotten Archer's ex, who was now standing alone, very uncomfortably. People stopped their own conversation to witness the drama Renee was making. Victor, after being familiar with Renee's tantrums for decades, just laughed and said, "You are still as delusional as before, Renee. I can see why you've been trying to sabotage Archer's relationship as well. That was uncalled for, you know."
"Don't try to change the topic, Victor. You need to let go of this woman right now. I won't allow you to marry her."
"Well, it's too late for that now, Renee. We already had a courthouse wedding. All we have left is a religious ceremony, after which she will be my real wife." Renee looked like someone had hit her physically. The look of pure shock on her face was truly something to see. She hadn't expected Victor to be so blunt, and she hadn't expected Victor to be married already. This day wasn't going like she had imagined. She had come here to destroy my dreams of having a family with Archer. Instead of her dreams of getting back with Victor had been destroyed. I had no mercy for her. She didn't deserve it from me. Renee was a freaking witch. After Victor hits her with the reality, Renee starts to ugly cry and causes scene. No one was surprised since we were familiar with her behavior. She was desperate to get back with Victor and kept harassing both him and his new girlfriend. She even sought Archer's help to try and make him talk to his dad. She tearfully held Archer and said, "Archer, you need to speak to your father. He's breaking my heart. You can't let him do this to me." "Dad can do whatever he wants, Mom. There's no way I would interfere with his happiness. Yes, he is happy with his new girlfriend, and it would do you good to get that through your head."
"Archer, how could you say that to me? Don't you want your parents to get back together? I love your father. Are my feelings invaluable to everyone?"
"Yes, Mom, your feelings are invaluable to me at least. You don't get to make requests from me when you try to casually break up my engagement. You talk about loving Dad, but you don't even know what it is. If you knew, you wouldn't have tried to cause a scene by bringing in my ex. You have no regard for my happiness. Why should I have any for yours?" In her frenzy to get back with Victor, Renee has forgotten what she just tried to pull a few minutes back. She may have thought that Archer would let it go now that she is in a vulnerable state, but no. My fiancé showed his shiny spine and told her exactly why she didn't deserve any pity. Renee was still desperate and said, "Archer, don't say that. Please, I beg you. Okay, fine. I will never ask you to get back with your ex again. Please, just make your dad understand my feelings." "Absolutely not, Mom. I'm not like you. I can't destroy people's relationships just because you ask me to. Your apology doesn't even matter anymore. Neither I nor Blair will ever forgive you."
"Blair, please, say that you accept my apology. I swear I will be better. I will do my best to make sure you two have a happy marriage. Please just help me have a happy marriage too." I literally laughed at her when Renee asked me for help. She had some nerve coming to me and asking me to get her love back. It was just ironic and bizarre as well. I didn't even know what she had expected to happen. Did she think I would forgive her just like I had all these years? Of course not. I said, "I don't want anything to do with you, Renee. I'm happy Victor is moving on from his abusive marriage with you and is now finding his happiness with someone else." Archer, do you hear that? Your stupid fiancé is supporting your father's new marriage. Are you not going to say anything?
What do you want me to say, Mom? I agree with her. Dad has found a good life away from you, and it has got me thinking. I think it's best if you stay away from us too. We don't even want you at our wedding because of the stunt you pulled today, so consider yourself uninvited from the wedding as well. Renee had thought that she was being smart by planning to ruin my life at the party. Well, instead of that, she ended up getting 2 big blows that she never saw coming. In a single night, she lost the love of her life and her own son. She absolutely went insane and almost had a mental breakdown. She was causing so much drama that the hosts asked her to leave. She immediately left, and Archer's ex awkwardly went away on her own as well. The rest of the party went well, and Archer was able to properly introduce his real fiancé, that is me. We had a blast, and Victor enjoyed the evening as well. The next few of our days were spent getting Renee off her back as she continued to harass us for help. She tried to break into Victor's house and kept making threats at his girlfriend, which ultimately got Renee arrested. She posted bail, but now can't go near Victor due to a strong restraining order. She didn't do anything to us, so we couldn't file for one, but we kept avoiding her and even added security at our wedding. It came in handy because Renee showed up in a white wedding dress and was promptly kicked out. Hello there, people who are reading this story. I found out about women sharing their nightmare mother-in-law stories here, and I thought I would add mine as well. My story is a little unique since, along with a bad mother-in-law, I have a bad sister-in-law as well. My husband, Rhett, belongs to a very good family. They were pretty rich, and he had grown up privileged. He was a great student in college and eventually landed a high-figure job. Meanwhile, I come from a very poor family and didn't get much in life. I never went to college and worked minimum wage jobs since high school. However, my hustle has paid off, and now I have what I consider a pretty decent job. Rhett and I are just perfect for each other. We love each other deeply and had a very good life even before marriage. However, his mother Kate and sister Lola never thought I was enough for him. From the very beginning of our relationship, they would constantly demean me and put me down. They would say, "I hope you know this is all temporary, Brielle. My brother's just testing the waters and dating you casually. He would never actually get serious with you." I'm not sure you got that right, Lola. Rhett loves me and I love him too. We are pretty serious since we have already been together for 4 years. Actually, we have been talking about weddings too. Mom, did you hear that? Brielle thinks Rhett will marry her. Can you believe her audacity? Kate and Lola laughed while I sat there dumbfounded. Rhett was on a phone call in a different room, so he wasn't there to shut them up. I was sitting there watching them make fun of me while hinting that Rhett wasn't serious about me. I was very confused and also a little humiliated. I said, "What's the matter, guys? Why are you laughing?" "Oh, God, you are so stupid. No wonder you couldn't do anything in life. Do you think my son will marry you? Have you ever seen yourself? Look at us. And look at you, Brielle. We have a high status and Rhett is a super successful man. Do you really think he would settle down with a loser like you?" Kate and Lola kept laughing at me while I had tears in my eyes. Yes, it was true that I was out of Rhett's league, but the love we had for each other was pure. That's why Rhett chose to pursue a real relationship with me. Hearing them poke at my insecurities was horrible, but I didn't do or say anything in return. You may think that I was stupid for not standing up for myself. You see, I simply didn't know how to do it. No one ever supported me or gave me the strength to stand up for myself. Rhett was the only one who cared. I didn't want to ruin his relationship with his family, so I kept quiet. That didn't mean Rhett didn't pick up on their behavior. He tried to stand up for me, but also let some things go because I asked him to. Rhett didn't have a father and my parents were already deceased, so I considered them the only family we had, no matter how horrible they were to me. For years,
I tried to make Lola and Kate change their mind about me. I did everything that I could think of, but nothing worked. They would throw away the gifts I gave them because they were cheap. They would humiliate me in front of their friends when they had the chance. They even tried to set up dates for Rhett so that he would leave me. They kept trying all these things till we announced our engagement. On that day, Kate and Lola just went mad. They pulled me aside in private and said, "Don't you dare think that we will let you marry my son. This wedding is never going to happen." "Kate, we are engaged, and we have already set the date. Why are you being this way? I promise I will keep Rhett happy for the rest of my life." "Oh, please, he will never be happy with you. He needs someone to match his level, and you are just plain trash. Mark my words, Brielle. We will stop this wedding one way or another." They had even talked to Rhett in private, although not this aggressively. When Rhett made it clear that he would be with no one else, they gave up. Things were suspiciously quiet while we planned the wedding. I was starting to think that he had finally given up. I was wrong, guys. They had plans of their own. They weren't kidding when they said that they would stop the wedding. It was a few months before the wedding when I went to my closet to take out my wedding dress. I hadn't bought a veil, so I wanted to take a look at the dress to see what would match it. When I opened the closet, I saw that my dress was nowhere to be found. Guys, my heart had dropped. It was a cheap gown, but it was all I could afford. I wanted to pay for it with my own money, so I didn't pay a lot for it. Still, it was my wedding gown, and I didn't know what to do if I couldn't find it. I searched the house for hours before breaking down in tears, and then I scrolled through our security camera footage to see if I could catch something. Guess what I saw there? Yes, it was Kate and Lola taking my wedding dress out of my closet and going home with it. They had a spare key, so they got in just fine. The moment I saw the clips, my mind went into overdrive. I was angry, sad, and hurt. I just didn't have it in me to forgive them this time. I was a crying mess for a while before I decided to do something. I told Rhett to leave the office early and tell his mother and sister to come over as well. He knew something was wrong but didn't say anything. After an hour, Kate and Lola walked in with a ridiculous smirk on their faces. They took one look at my red, puffy eyes and started to grin at each other. Then, pretending like nothing happened, they made themselves home on my couch. I turned to them and said, "Rhett will be home soon, but before that, I need to talk to you two." "I don't think you have anything to tell us, Brielle." "Yes, we are not interested in whatever small talk you have in mind." "There will be no small talk, guys. I simply have some questions I need answers to. What did you two do with my dress?" "I don't know what you're talking about, Brielle. What dress?" "My wedding dress is missing, and I know for a fact that you two are behind this." Kate and Lola hadn't expected me to accuse them outright. Their expression gave it away. I guess the fault lies with me because I had been such a doormat when it came to them. I should have enforced my boundaries more aggressively and shouldn't have given them the space to humiliate me. But now they had tested my limits and I had lost all patience. This was a metaphorical war and I wasn't going to back down. My expression must have scared both Kate and Lola. They gulped, but then immediately started to act angry. Lola actually stood up and started to scream at me. She said, "How dare you accuse us of stealing your dress? Are you calling me and my mom thieves? Who gave you the right to throw accusations at us like that?" "So, you are going to deny my claims that you two have taken my wedding gown?" "Absolutely, Brielle. We are not thieves. We come from a high-class family and wouldn't steal from anyone, let alone someone like you." "Do you think your wedding dress was made of gold and diamonds? Why the hell would we steal something so cheap and tacky for ourselves?" "I have no idea why you took my wedding dress, Lola, but there is no use denying that you didn't do it. You and your mom both took my dress, and God knows what you did with it. If you know what's the right thing to do, you will confess to it." Lola and Kate both looked a little shocked at my cold behavior. They weren't used to seeing this side of mine. I tried to be caring and forgiving towards people. Some may consider this my weakness, but it is what it is. I try to be patient and kind, but not when people are repeatedly testing my limits. What Lola and Kate did was unforgivable no matter what they had planned to do with my gown. The mother-daughter duo soon realized that I wasn't going to get intimidated by them. I kept telling them to confess while they kept shouting at me and denying everything. I wasn't yelling at them or revealing any information about the proof I had. I let them scream at me so that my fiancé could come home and see how his family was behaving. Just as Lola and Kate kept yelling at me. Rhett walked into the house. He was already looking very concerned, especially since I had told him to come home early. When he saw his mother and sister yelling at me, he was even more confused and concerned. He said, "What is going on here? Mom, Lola, why are you two shouting at my fiancé?" "Rhett, your wife is making some unfounded and serious accusations against us. We can't believe you chose a girl like her." "Mom, we always knew Brielle was a bad choice for Rhett, but he wouldn't even listen to us. Look at us now, Mom. We have to listen to Rhett's horrible fiancé accuse us of being thieves." Rhett looked a little taken aback when Lola mentioned me calling them thieves. I don't even know why they were accusing me of calling them thieves. I never said they stole anything. I simply said that they had taken my dress. It was Kate and Lola who kept saying that they hadn't stolen my stuff. Our subconscious can sometimes really give away secrets that are within us. Anyway, Rhett was rightfully confused about this entire situation. He said, "Wait a minute, guys. Did you say that Brielle accused you two of stealing something?" "That is right, Rhett. Your wife has been humiliating us by calling us thieves. I never thought I would have someone treat me like this, let alone my soon-to-be daughter-in-law. She has no respect for me." "You need to do something, Rhett. You can't let your wife get away with this horrible behavior. Your family doesn't deserve it." "Brielle, you need to tell me what's going on. I'm getting really confused right now. Did you accuse Lola and my mom of stealing anything?" I knew Rhett would be a reasonable person and actually asked me for details instead of jumping to conclusions, and he did exactly that. Ignoring his family's outrage, he first asked me what was going on. He wanted to know the full story before saying or doing something. I quietly looked at Rhett and said, "Rhett, my wedding dress is missing. I went to the closet to check and it wasn't there." "Would you look at that, Rhett? Your fiancée had lost her freaking wedding gown and is blaming us for it. She was irresponsible and is now trying to pass off the blame." "I can't believe how shallow you can be, Brielle. I bet you're lying about us because you want us to pay for a more expensive wedding dress as a replacement." "Yes, I always knew she was a gold digger. This is a freaking loser who couldn't make it big and is now finding ways to use others." Kate and Lola were still insulting me after literally stealing my wedding dress. Their audacity just made my blood boil. I just wanted to strangle them with my bare hands. I hadn't been so angry in my whole life. They kept on humiliating me until Rhett finally spoke up again. "Will you guys please stop insulting my fiancé for a minute and let me talk? This is not a simple matter and I don't want anyone to jump to conclusions. Brielle, do you think Mom and Lola took your dress?" "Rhett, I know they took my dress. I'm not making any baseless assumptions and I certainly didn't call them thieves. I simply told them I knew they jumped on me." "Do you have any proof that they stole your dress? You seem to be awfully confident about it. There has to be a reason." "Yes, Rhett, I have proof that they stole it. I wouldn't have made those accusations out of the blue." Now, when I said that I had proof of the theft, Lola and Kate looked pretty nervous. They hadn't considered the fact that I may have proof of them stealing the dress. They should have thought about it, though. It was almost common sense at this point. Too bad they forgot one crucial detail when they came to steal my dress. Lola and Kate didn't know what proof I had, but they were still nervous. So they started to shout at me again. "Rhett, you shouldn't believe a word she says. She's just trying to trap us. You can't just let her manipulate you into thinking what she wants you to think." "That's right, Rhett. You have to listen to Mom. Brielle is just trying to trick you. She has no proof that we did anything." "If she has no proof, you need to calm down. There is no reason for you to worry." They won't calm down because they know they are in trouble. "Rhett, Our surveillance system caught Lola and Kate walking out with my wedding dress when I wasn't home. It's on the Ring doorbell camera as well. Yes, those stupid people forgot the basic fact that we had a surveillance system at our house. There were cameras outside the house and in the hallways. Kate and Lola must have forgotten about them. I pulled up the security footage that I had saved and showed them to Rhett. Kate and Lola now knew that they were in serious trouble. Their faces went pale and they started to look at each other nervously. Rhett saw the whole footage and then looked at his family with a super angry expression. He even sounded mad when he said, "How do you two think we can explain this, guys?" "It's not what it looks like, Rhett. We were just—" "No, I don't want any more lies coming out of your mouth. I've had enough of you two trying to sabotage my wedding and humiliate my wife. You need to tell me exactly what is going on." Lola looked a little unsure while Kate was struggling to keep it together. I guess all this was too much for her, and when Rhett sided with me, the dam broke. Kate literally yelled at Rhett with a good amount of venom in her voice. She said, "Are you happy now, Rhett? I confess to it. Lola and I came up with the plan and did it together." "What the hell, Mom? Why would you guys even do that?" "What do you mean, why, Rhett? We've been telling you for ages that Brielle is not right for you." "Oh, really? Then tell me why Brielle is not right for me. I will be thrilled to know the root cause of what happened today. She's a freaking loser who didn't even go to college and works a stupid job. She's not a good fit for our high-class family. You know that, Rhett. You need to cancel the wedding since we won't allow you to marry a loser." "Excuse me, Mom? You think Brielle is not high-class while you two are? Does stealing someone else's things fall under the activities of high-class people?" Kate and Lola were shocked to hear Rhett turn on them so easily. They hadn't expected him to talk to them this way. Rhett, like me, was also a soft-spoken person, but can be a force to be reckoned with when angry. They were now seeing the angry side of Rhett, and both of them should have shut up at this point, but they continued. They said, "I can't believe you're siding with that loser woman, Brielle. She's not worthy of this, Rhett. She's even taking you away from your family now. Oh God, what has happened to my son? This witch has done something to him. Rhett, just look at the way you're speaking to us. Don't teach me how I can talk to you two. You stole my fiancé's wedding dress and didn't even apologize to her. Instead, you are now yelling at me and telling me how you did this for my own good. You are freaking crazy. You have to be kidding, Rhett. You can't expect us to apologize to a loser like her. And we can't, in the right conscience, let you marry that woman. You can't choose a high school graduate with a loser job over your own family, Rhett. This is ridiculous." "Stop. Both of you will stop right now. I have had enough of you two insulting my fiancé for no reason. She's not a loser. You want to know who the real losers are? It's you two who freaking stole from my fiancé. You don't want me to marry a loser? Well, I don't want losers at my wedding. Consider yourselves uninvited." Kate and Lola were shocked while I was screaming with happiness inside my head. Rhett had finally done it. He was putting bigger boundaries between us and his family. He wasn't going to let them go anyway. He was going to teach them a nice lesson that they would remember. Kate and Lola were now in utter disbelief. They didn't expect Rhett to retaliate so badly. They started to cry and said, "What the hell, Rhett? Are you disinviting your own family to your wedding? How can you do this to us?" "What's the problem, Mom? I thought you didn't want to come to my wedding at all. Did you really think I would listen to you and just cancel my wedding?" "You are not thinking straight, Rhett. We are your family. If you go ahead with the wedding and uninvite us, there will be consequences." "Right. We won't be able to even look at you again. I'm afraid we would have to part ways here." "That's fine with me. I don't want you in my life anymore either. The way you disrespected my wife and tried to sabotage my wedding was too much. I don't think I have any interest in keeping connections anymore." "Rhett, what are you saying? You will cut us off?" "Yes, I will, Mom. I will go no contact with both you and Lola. You can keep your high-class life while I will keep the family I will create with Brielle. Oh yes, I'm so proud of my fiancé. He was just reminding me of all the reasons why I fell in love with him. Rhett had truly developed a shiny spine and was not afraid to show it to his family. Kate and Lola were in disbelief, but slowly everything sunk in. Now they changed their tone completely and started to beg Rhett not to do that to them. They were dependent on him for a lot of things, and Rhett cutting them off would have even more serious consequences for them. So they started to plead with him. In the end, they said, "Fine. If you are so adamant about marrying Brielle, we will support you. We will do everything to keep you in our lives. Yes, we will apologize to Brielle and even return the dress. We can put this past us and have a fresh beginning." There is no use telling me this right now. It won't work on me. Brielle is the main victim here. You should ask her for mercy if you want me to even consider having you in my life. Fine, we will do that. Brielle, we are sorry for what we have done. Please forgive us and tell Rhett to forgive us too. Kate and Lola were pleading with me and looking at me expectantly. One lifetime ago I would have forgiven them, but not anymore. Rhett made the right decision in cutting them off, and I was completely on board with him. He even looked directly at me and said, "What do you say, Brielle? Will you forgive them and let things go?" Actually, no. I won't let things go, and I won't certainly forgive them. In fact, I'm happy with the decision you made. Well, that settles it then. You two need to get out and never come back. Don't bother showing up to the wedding because you won't be allowed in. Kate and Lola started to cry and beg us to forgive them. They were losing their piggy bank, which was Rhett. I guess they had thought Rhett would remain single or marry someone even richer so that they could have a good life. Looks like their dreams were all crushed now. No amount of begging or pleading got us to change our minds. We were determined not to forgive them. Word spread fast, and everyone got to know what Kate and Lola had done. Initially, they had tried to recruit extended family members to agree with their logic. However, when the full story came out, they were shunned by everyone. Rhett was super pissed at them and didn't want anything to do with them. Kate and Lola had showed up at the house to return my dress, but he had told them to keep it. Later, he tripled my wedding dress budget and helped me get a new one. Don't worry. He didn't see it at the wedding. He was just there to pay because he knew I would refuse. Despite Kate and Lola's best efforts, Rhett and I got married. It was truly a beautiful day, and I didn't have to worry about anything. There was a small fiasco when Kate and Lola showed up crying to be let in, but we didn't even know that till the reception. Our extended family and venue security took care of it and kicked them out. We had an amazing day, and it's been 6 months since we got married. Kate and Lola still tried to reach out because they had to tone down their lifestyle since Rhett wasn't giving them extra money. They kept crying and telling Rhett how they were miserable. However, instead of making Rhett sad for them, he was even more infuriated. He now realized that his mom and sister only cared about this money and nothing else. Anyway, we're still in no contact no matter how many texts and calls they leave us. I'm enjoying my married life while they are desperately trying to get back into our good graces.